Hello everybody, this is Danny Hafen. I am once again analyzing and making commentary on the games of the play-in stage of MSI. It's day 2. We are on game 2, Kaboom versus Pentagram. I would have loved to do this live as the games came forth, but I was unable to because of other duties. But this is the first I have seen of the game at all. Any details or spoilers, I have been able to avoid them all, thankfully. So these will be my thoughts, and let us begin.
Kind of stack up against the competition, but he has been a monster.
The game right before this, Zaya and Rakan and Trundle once again showed their power in the game, but we also got to see Gangplank and Camille duke it out.
They have learned from the first game on the side of Kaboom.
It was entertaining, but there was.
I want to see what Zanchins does here.
It was a little bit messier than I think it should have been for a team that drafted so cohesively for the late game, but then keeps fighting and taking scrappy matches against the early game comp that the other team had. So, Kaboom and Pentagram here, they banned 2 of those champions, the Ezreal and the Gangplank.
And he really is the big carry of the team. He averages 15 CS
I hope to see
15 minutes over
the
his
Kaisa
opponent.
ban
The
from
next
Pentagram.
highest person on his team averages
Nobody's
1
been able to deal with that yet.
15 minutes.
And
he is the early game
let me make
lead.
this full screen.
That's going to be crucial for them to set him up for
I don't
success,
think
but also Pentagram
anybody is going to find the way to deal with it in the play-in stage. Maybe some of the other regions like Europe, NA, North America,
when he has the Taric by his side, can be so strong. And Pentagram keeping
Europe,
up suit,
North
banning
America,
away more AD
China,
carries. Kaisa,
or Korea might be able to give Kaisa over and still win.
2 games where he was almost 1,000 damage per minute.
I don't think it's going to happen.
One of them where he was 1,200 damage per minute. And I
so,
wonder if Pentagram will ban Caitlyn as their last
popular
ban
bans from yesterday were also the Azir or some jungle bans,
what does that open up?
and
what
the
do they want to put their
Morgana,
priority on? Are they going to set Yutori Moyashi
they show
up for
before
success?
I think of,
What will
and
they take
I
away?
have to be
Rakan, of
reminded
course,
of.
still in the picture. Caitlyn's
Have
still
to
in
get
the
my
picture.
thoughts
Zaya as well. Similar situation to what we've seen before. Along with some
So
power
this
pick
last
top laners
ban,
and mid laners could go through.
If you're really afraid of Riev, you ban away the
I would
Rakan,
really hope to see
and then you
the
split Caitlyn for Zaya or Tristana for
Rakan
yourself.
ban.
But
Swain.
looks like they're going to go ahead and
Interesting.
leave Caitlyn and
Swain has
Rakan
been a
and
very
Zaya
popular
up.
flex
That's the Swain we were
pick
talking about from
for the
Zanchins.
red
Not
side.
letting that go through.
It's
Yet
not
another
as
power pick
powerful on
despite
blue
its nerfs
side
seem to be so
because
strong in the tournament. But Rakan
you have to
feels
show
like the
your
universal first pick.
champions
Everybody
earlier.
loves to
So
have it.
once
Yeah,
again,
otherwise you're just
Rakan
trading
being
80
picked up.
carries, and
Everybody
if I pick
is
Caitlyn, you pick Zaya
loving it.
Rakan.
I think
If I pick Rakan, you
he
pick
has been first
Zaya
picked
or Caitlyn, I
in
get
more
the other one.
games than
So either
any
I get
other
the Zaya
champion
Rakan combo,
so far this
or I
tournament.
get one of the best 80 carries. So it forces you to kind of break up
Please
the
lock in that
combination
Zaya. I
and
do
use
not
one
want
of
to
your
see
early
the
picks
lovers
on an
duo
AD. That may not
again.
be
It's
something
too
that you really
powerful
want to
for combo.
pick here. Potentially
And
jungle
they
here as
flip
well
it.
for
Now,
Pentagram. I think
with
that's kind of the trend we're seeing
the
here.
Rakan
when
and
Rakan
Zaya
is
being
picked, that you go
split
for your
up,
jungler in
the
the same rotation.
And the jungle pool was wide
interesting
open. No bans
possibility this
directed
brings
there
up is
whatsoever. All the power
Rakan
picks
got
up and available.
buffed
See what they want to opt for. Last game was the Trundle and Skarner making their way through, as well as the
while the
Kha'Zix
Rakan
banned
Zaya
away, but it is going to
combo
be the
got
Alistar, so it looks like
to try
Pentagram
to
want to fight
make
that
him more
all-in
viable
power
by
with a little bit of
himself, because
all-in
it used
power
to
of
be
their own.
you just
And
ban the
it's
Zaya
actually
and
quite
nobody
good
would
against
want to
Rakan.
touch
The
the
headbutt, you
Rakan
can
by
buffer it and
itself.
make sure that you knock him
But
away when he's
now,
trying to W.
in solo queue,
So yeah,
he has
I'll
shown
see what happens here.
that
It's a pretty good
he can
combo
be
for the lane
a
phase
viable
up against the
mid
Rakan.
laner
Allow some
to
playmaking
cause
for the gang as well.
chaos.
But now
It's
what does
like
it take into it?
a tankier
Well,
Trundle, of course,
is
the first pick here, do have the
with
opportunity to take an
CC
easy carry
instead
with their
of
last pick of the first rotation.
one-shot
And maybe want
damage
to. We saw a
potential.
similar scenario on our last pick and ban where
And a
of
lot of
those
people
AD
have
carries
trouble
could just be taken
adjusting
off
to
the
how
board
to
if you
play
wait
against
any
it.
longer to lock
And
them
we
in.
might
yeah, I
see
feel
that
like you
this
go
game.
Caitlyn here because there's already two kind of
The Alistar
benches.
pick is a good
The
solid
Trundle
support,
is kind of
get
the
it out
no-brainer
of the
for
way,
the S-tier junglers. You can
lets
hit
you,
things like Nidalee and Graves into it.
focus on your other lanes for the
and
rest
make
of
it
the
struggle
picks
a
and
bit,
bans.
But once is
Trundle,
kind of more
once
like
again,
the Olaf
100%
player.
pick
Lee
ban
Sin also got
presence.
some buffs
He
too. We'll see
blocks
if
Olaf,
maybe
he
goes for one
blocks
of those
Skarner.
champions. But
So what
Skarner
jungler
is
are
the
you going to bring
safest bet.
in that can
But we'll see
bring
what they
team
end up doing
utility
here.
like the Trundle
Lots of pivots
does,
that you can go for. I would
but
expect jungle though.
not
Ooh.
die as easy?
Kha'Zix
Okay,
coming
we
in
got the
for
Kha'Zix.
once. I
So,
like it. This is not a pick that we've seen too much of. Definitely powerful, but
now they're going to be pinching
maybe difficult, but it does
their desired
mean
lanes.
have a lot
Still,
harder time
remember that
surviving in
could
that mid game,
be
especially if he's
mid.
ever alone.
Most likely not,
but it also means
could.
that Kaboom are probably going to be a tankless composition. Because Trundle is semi-tank, he does get pretty beefy, but it's a lot of it's regen off of having a tank on the other side.
With Cassiopeia being the first band, it looks like they're trying to
carry top laners, only played 3 tanks in their 21 games. He's probably not picking a tank this game. And you don't have a tank jungler, you don't have a tank support.
First pick,
it's going to be a very squishy composition for Kaboom.
Final pick.
And we've seen
so
it worked
Talia,
out well in the previous game.
Corki was seen once or twice in the EU Masters. We might see it here. Azir, very popular.
Those stats away.
We've seen one Galio game and one Karthus game already as mid laners in this game, but those were both by Gambit Gaming and were ideally they were prepared beforehand, and Pentagram and Kaboom might not have had enough time to practice such combos in just the 24 hours since those Wombo combos were revealed yesterday.
Vladimir, the Swain, Gnar and GP. Oh, there's the Gnar. They banned it themselves, actually.
Top lane tanks are all available.
I'm really interested to see what
every
he goes
single
for
one
here,
of them.
Because Camille
Ornn is a
what
pick
jumps up is one of those
that
carries
can be
that's
grabbed
in,
and
like,
is
that
pretty
S-tier
safe.
Meta.
Very true. What are the options for Pentagram? What are they going to save for last pick? Looks like they
Zoe
going to give
is
up
a champion that has seen a few games, but is not as popular as she was at the beginning of this competitive season.
Things have changed. I know.
Now,
it's Irene. She's a
there was a
hover,
well,
people
not a
can get
hover,
excited.
a ban yesterday on LeBlanc,
no one plays her in solo
and
queue,
LeBlanc
so
is considered by many effective counter pick
People are a little bit,
the Zoe.
warmer to champions when they aren't 100% pick ban. But yeah, Zoe or Ramune. We'll see if he's able
So
to
we
pop
might
off
see
here.
that. I just,
But,
hey, I got it.
New LeBlanc on the main stage.
And for top lane,
for the plans. New picks coming in.
New old LeBlanc. Oh, she does so much damage
I would
so
go
quickly.
Cho'Gath.
You get that burst. You don't have to prime it
because
anymore. It's none of
Cho'Gath
that. Hit them
is
with
the
the
most
sigil, wait for
effective
the
at
little
dealing
circle to come
with
around. It's just
bannered
back to
minions from
Get
the
in
enemy
there.
team.
You are. Let's go. Every
But
single
going
time.
Cho'Gath leads you up for
Ornn
the
now
Darius
rounding it out,
counter
though.
pick.
That's one of the tankier picks we were
So they
looking
go
for,
with
so
Ornn,
bit of a mix
and that
here.
is a
See how
decent
Pentagram
takeaway.
went around their composition.
But
Now
Pentagram
Shen,
going
the core
Shen
cover,
would be
is a tankier pick to back up some of the
incredibly
damage sources on their
intelligent,
lineup,
in my
but
opinion.
I like the Shen.
Because the Shen can piggyback on the Kha'Zix
Also, I think Kaz is
for
probably one of the
some
weakest
interesting
players on the
plays,
lineup from a
help the
skill
Kha'Zix
perspective.
get
So allowing him to
those
affect the rest of the
side
map, I
lane
think, is one of the best things. Also, if you are split pushing
number
him,
advantage fights.
Kha'Zix is one of the best junglers at shadowing
Shen
lanes,
also
and then
is a
Kha'Zix
counter
plus
pick to
Shen is a great
Ornn
delivery system for team fights.
because
it's true. We've seen that before. Kind of
Ornn
mix like
cannot
Rengar as
proc
well, when
his
it's popular in the
brittle
past, and excited to see how once can use this stealth if we do see the
brittle
1v1
passive
situation.
on Shen
I'm really
because he
interested,
can't
though,
land
to
an
see
auto
what happens
attack
with this Ornn, because Zanchin's he's really been favoring
Shen does
that
his
carry
one skill,
style. He
whatever
has
it's
been the
called.
carry for the team. Kaboom struggled to get off the ground when he
You see
isn't
the
dominating his
pool
lane.
of light on
And
the
like I said
ground.
earlier,
Anybody
he
who's
is the
played
early
League
game.
has
But
dealt
now
with
it looks
it.
like it's going to be in the hands
And it makes
of
it so
Cheetan and also
you get a strong advantage there
D2.
when you're not expecting
So,
to.
I know, I got to put a little preface here. It looks like Titan. He said it's Cheetan, so
I like the Shen over the
We're
Ornn.
gonna go with
I
the
like
player
the
preference
Trundle
here, of
over the
course.
Kha'Zix.
And the mid laner
I like the
Fnatic is
LeBlanc over the
different
Zoe.
kinda
I like the Xayah over
language
the
when you say,
Caitlyn.
Yeah.
what we assume is the Fnatic
I like
Cheetan and Jin Keto.
the Alistar
Jin
over
Kato,
the
yes,
Rakan.
for the mid laner.
So work with us if you're working at home. But of course, want to respect the players' wishes and two very exciting compositions. Zyrene, I think top lane is exciting to see. Bot lane as well, though. Two star players, one on each side, going toe-to-toe
like
here as we enter Game
teams?
2 between Kaboom Esports and Pentagram.
Pentagram
Both teams very hungry to prove themselves.
wants to
Pentagram, the 1-9 from 2017,
run
basically a cloud over their heads. They want
Shen
to be
in a
able to
side
just
lane
have the sun shine through to just get away
with
from that. And
Zoe,
start proving that the LJL should be
Xayah,
on the
and
map.
Alistar
and Kaboom want to
in
prove
the
that they're
middle,
the representative
making
that Brazil
picks.
has been craving.
And Zoe going out of line of vision as often as possible, and Kha'Zix roaming in the jungle between, trying to find the picks. With Zoe out of vision, she can throw those trouble bubbles through the walls at extreme distances, and you don't know if she's there mid lane about to do it, or if she's been able to get bot lane and throw one.
Well.
I'm ready.
Now,
there's so much that I find
Kaboom,
so interesting to me. There's engaged.
their ideal team fight
Look at the LeBlanc.
Also the
is Rakan going all in and getting key targets with his ultimate as the Orin ultimate comes down. But we want to do that after LeBlanc has gotten significant poke.
One of Zoe's biggest weaknesses is that she doesn't have a true escape, right? She has to snap back to where she came from with her heart. So one of her biggest counters was the Cassidon.
To see if those things happen, we're going to have a decent early game from the teams. Caitlyn has not done well this tournament so far, in part because 2 of the games she's played in, she was played against
And so I want to see that here. I want to see him be very aggressive and abuse the fact that Zoe doesn't have a true escape.
And players from like 3 years ago are probably sitting there like traumatized, remembering when LeBlanc was a strong champion.
I don't have enough
and remember,
notes
a lot of her damage
or a
is the
support
WR
team
combo in fights.
Tell me in my ear if I'm misremembering stats.
So she has a lot of team fight presence.
So,
see, it's interesting just to get used to the champion again, to see not quite the same wave play with the Q, of completely different laning pattern. Now going back for now, even though level 1.
Let's look at the summoner spells.
Very aggressive trades, maybe just 1 or 2.
The
Riev, he only needs a level 1.
The
down a
runes.
bit of damage here. Tori Moyashi actually suffering a lot in the laning phase. Good play coming in from Cheeton and Riev, really pushing the limits on their champions in this level 1 trade.
He just took like 400 damage because he was slightly out of position and Riev hit the W. Like, that's actually ridiculous. They
dying on
lose the
Chen.
phase now. They're going to get
That
denied
makes
by
perfect
this
sense.
and they're just going to get pushed under their turret.
Once
And
again,
Yutori's gonna
sensible.
have to kind of scrap around and last hit under turret as effectively as possible.
The first
Summoner
thing that you brought
spellbook
up,
from
was wanting
the
to see that same level of performance from Tori Moyashi
Zoe
see in the LJL,
is
and it's already
useful
going to be difficult, and unfortunately it just gets
and
harder for
will
once
allow
too, as the invade is coming in for Kaboom.
Yeah, he started on the top side, they know this.
Adaptation,
and he can't get his blue buff.
whether they need exhaust because Caitlyn gets way too fed, or they need a barrier so she doesn't get popped by the LeBlanc in one-shot rotations.
So he doesn't know
It'll be
exactly
quite
what's going
useful.
on, but they just saw that once cleared the camp.
Zaya with the
Jumps
fleet
over.
footwork
Oh, he doesn't have a smite. He doesn't have a smite. They don't know that though.
is common enough.
He wants to leash it. He wants to leash it.
And Alistar Aftershock
It does just
is
come
what
up.
is
He's going to move
expected.
forward though.
Now here is Trundle taking advantage
out of his
of
own jungle. Kato just
being a strong
getting a
jungler.
good trade in mid lane
Once
as well.
again, he has been in
Fantastic
every
trade.
single
That's gonna
game
be
in
actually the
either the
potions out
picks
of
or
Ramen.
bans.
He's
He
actually
is the
out
premier
now.
jungler in my opinion.
So
He hasn't won every
around with
game,
350 HP.
but he
That's
has been
ignite range.
very
That's
strong.
WQ ignite range.
And oh, good
Once
job.
steal it back,
Once
but forced to use the smite.
that was sort of
Make sure
critical
he
for
didn't
once
disrupt any back,
to
but
stay in this game
honestly,
to
fantastic
win that
use of
smite
lane
fight.
pressure coming in here from Kaboom.
Yeah, playing to that bottom side. Yutori though caught out.
Trying to interrupt the support,
So,
but not exactly what
now that
right back out. Titan gets another free 80 carry.
Zaya
Already
and
used
Alistar
before
are not
Moyashi
level
just
1,
put up a bit,
they
one
can
left.
deal a little bit better with the
but
range of
very
Rakan
difficult
and
laning phase
Caitlyn
early
and punish
on.
them if they miss
Good
position.
news though, checking on the top side. Paz on the top
And
side. This is a guy you may not have
they have
expected
the
as
health
much, especially
advantage
against
too,
Sanchez, but he's actually
in my
doing well
opinion,
in the early game.
Sanchez is
because
actually going to try to look for a semi-freeze here against Paz.
the Doran's shield on
Always kinda
Zaya,
sucks, like, top
she'll be
laners,
able to
it's my off roll, so when I play
stay
it
and
and I
not
play
get
against a good
poked
top
out.
laner who knows
Their
how to
tower
freeze,
will
feels
suffer
really bad.
though.
So he has
And
like 3
Caitlyn,
caster minions.
if you have a Caitlyn lane, you
will be a slow
want to
push
take
back
first
now
tower.
because the fact that it's stacked. So we'll see if Trundle makes it up to the
And
top
if you
side
don't, you failed your lane,
in time.
and you failed your draft.
Through. May stop for a scuttle crab on the way. May look for a little bit of invade, but another engage on the bottom side. May just get stunned here. The heal actually
Heal down from Titan and
Titan and
Zaya.
paying for a little bit for that aggression that they've been putting down. All the pressure moving forward, burning that summoner spell.
I think that actually hurts them because you can go for an all-in with the
I'm
Alistar,
not
so
sure if that was a must, but
We look at the relative
this is,
damage output.
once
Gamer can
again,
get the trap set up. I mean,
double
lot of
round
damage
robin,
on that
best
blade
of
collar.
ones.
if Zai is able to lay down,
And
if they can actually lock down a target.
it's better to use the
Mid lane,
summoner
though,
spell
continues to be a
and
pretty big
make
issue
sure that nothing
on the
goes
side of
wrong
Pentagram. The
and
CS lead already
to
grown.
die,
Jin
lose
Kato is up
priority in that
13
lane,
CS. There's a
and
wave
then
here for
possibly lose
Ramune to
first
CS,
tower
so
later
we'll look
on.
at it now,
So
and it's about 8.
I
But
respect
Ramune
the
had the
caution
back,
of
TP'd
that
in, and all he got was a no-match man.
decision.
So Jin Kato is going to be sitting on more gold. He's going to be able to back at a better time.
So
it's not
on
something that, like,
Kaboom's
Ramune now
side,
has a way to shove better
Grasp of
bottom.
the Undying
It's just
on
a defensive
Orin,
item here for him.
press the attack
The terrifying point of old LeBlanc
Trundle, which has been
was
his most
definitely not the
popular
level 5s.
keystone
I mean,
in
it was
this
the level 6.
series.
When you get a mimic ability,
Electrocute on
people
LeBlanc,
start dying,
Fleet
and
Footwork
if it's
on
Ramune under his
Caitlyn,
tower
and
or
Guardian
someone else in
on
another lane, Pentagram need to be
the
clear,
Zaya,
because with LeBlanc
not the Zaya,
pushing
the
as much
Rakan.
as she is,
Now I have stated
does not
multiple
look like they're going
times
to
that
get to dictate the pace here.
the Guardian is better than Summon Ahri on a Rakan if you're going up against a heavy engaged melee support like Leona or Alistar. So I approve of that decision-making there.
Flash forward immediately, the damage taking down.
Oh, well,
Burn, baby,
yep,
burn.
there we go. Good job, LeBlanc.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Power Rangers finish. Zyrene just looks away as he blows up.
He knows that he caught him there, but basically what you do is you make sure that the Zoe, if she's standing in the wave, you W the wave, it's going to shove the wave, it's going to hit the other person. If they aren't standing in the wave, easy chain because they don't have minions in front of them. So against LeBlanc, you do have to kind of figure out how you want to play it and shift between that.
She
you see
feels
Mamune,
like she has high mobility.
With
it's
this
fake
iteration
because
of
she
the LeBlanc
returns
because there's so
back
much damage that comes out
to
with the max W.
her
We'll see it one
original
more time
position
here. It's a great game from Ranger.
cannot
Mamune
escape.
thinks
So
he has the
it's
advantage
down,
because he hit 6
frontal
first.
pillar,
Then
the flash comes through, but LeBlanc follows it with her own spells and gets full rotation.
And here's the thing, Zyrene, you talked about how Zoe is just kind of trapped in that matchup because she's always going to go back to the same spot, doesn't have that free mobility, and you saw it there. Portal jump.
What I hope to see this
even
game.
if she didn't burn.
yeah, and it got even worse just
One
now
of the very common items built by Trundle Jungle is a Zeke's Convergence.
So, like I said, he has no
The
true
most
escape in the
common
Zoe kit.
support
Now he has
item
no escape,
for a
period.
Rakan
And
is a Zeke's
will most likely
Convergence.
kill him when that Mimic
You
is up,
can't
which
put
it is now.
both on
So
Caitlyn, and it's
they
not
wanna
very
go
good
for
on
Ramune.
somebody
There
unless
it
they
is,
have a
portal jump,
high
rinse, repeat.
AD
Those are gonna
stack.
come behind in a second, but a
So
sleepy LeBlanc
what I
knows
hope
exactly
to
what they
see,
need. Shen coming in as
people
well.
not
Once he's in
respecting the
mid
Shen
lane, maybe turn
ultimate
Ranger.
and have to.
Now flash out to safety, but that is the global burn for Paz. Immediately the follow with a taunt. A lot of damage goes in.
Yeah, that was just people not respecting or remembering that Shen's in the game because everybody's been showed. Everybody is going full in wherever they can, wanting that 2v2 outplay.
Zyrene, there is blood everywhere. The ulti fired back. Blade Caller not going to connect, and the action stops for just a moment.
Both top
So what I was
laners go to
trying to
different
say
lanes.
about
That
the
was
items
Paz
I hope to
going
see,
mid,
I hope to
TPing
see
back top
Trundle
as Xantis
forego
goes at
the
TP's
Zeke's
bottom.
Convergence
So they're all trying to just
and
affect other
instead
lanes here. And
go
D2 he's actually
Knight's
getting
Vow
pushed in
right
now
off the bat.
because
and
of
put
that
that
gank
on the
earlier, so he
Caitlyn.
doesn't have his jungler on the side.
Buff up your Caitlyn, get those towers early game,
and
and with Knight's Vow,
he's going to evolve.
you'll have
That's new, that's spicy.
And there's the defense.
Going to back right out once able
a little bit more health
beautiful play
to make it so you can actually tank the Baron when your Orin is split pushing somewhere else.
This is going to be...
Smites it. Red buff taking a little bit of regen here. That's going to help him out.
Zoe
coming in. Sleepy trouble bubble.
Good job.
Back off. Taking advice though, so a little bit more damage will get thrown his way. But I did not expect this from once. He had a very lackluster final performance, but now he's playing so
in
aggressive.
the inventories of Shen, Zoe, and Alistar,
that's the kind of thing I like to see for your causes.
Oh, absolutely, because they were talking
the
about
minion
the pentagram and the LJL.
And
it's constantly just kind of macro focused. It's all
I
about
hope
just playing the map. And here we're
see
seeing a
some
lot
of those
aggression to
saves
try and match
by
the
Shen,
aggression being put out
because I
here
fully
by
expect
the CB
Orin
ultimate
to
boom.
build a banner
I
of
love that
command
from
this
Paz.
game.
You see Ranger
And
flashes just to try and get
Orin
away.
also
but
has
it's
his
gonna be a
own
taunt flash
banner,
afterward.
own minion
G2 can't do anything about
dematerializers,
that. Whereas
and he can use a
Riev,
few
he
of
tries
those
go in,
to
he
deal
actually
with
gets
any of
feathers
the
pulled in on
first
him
few banner
right then. So he actually takes a
minions.
lot of damage as he goes in with the W.
So much damage in Zaya's kit, and you always kind of get baited by how much damage that Blade Caller is going to do.
So
really, already a pretty bloody game. You know,
the CS is pretty even all the way through.
1.9
1 kill to 2,
already at 2. I mean,
but 1,000 gold up
it's literally
on
3 kills,
Pentagram.
9 minutes in. It is a bloody game by their standards for sure, because they're very macro focused. It's almost like Korea in a sense, where LJL tries to mimic
what
them
I
a
want
whole
to
bunch
see
in terms of the choke out vision style.
And a death by 1,000.
LeBlanc finish her first item,
lose a wave
take
here or there, and
complete
just constantly try to
control
do that.
of
Go for the play, but now you can see. I mean, if we look back,
clearing that wave
3
mid lane
minutes,
first, and then getting
and
roams
G2
off
were
to snowball the other lanes.
And now they're scared to approach the wave, so things clearly
LeBlanc's
turning
help
back in the favor of Pentagram.
down here in bot
And
lane
it's good that it's in the hands of Yutori Moyashi.
secure first tower blood.
Bottom lane, because it's
First break.
exactly who you would want to see carry.
Yeah, they got to back with a little bit more gold. They have the assist
because
under
right
their
now
belt too.
Caitlyn once
So
again
that
is having
kind of
trouble
equated to
doing
the
her
dagger
job.
plus the boots in the advantage, and there's no
not
potions
taking
on
the first
on
tower.
G-Town. So if he takes damage, it pretty much sticks. And now they get the advantage. They get to play to
not
this
having
lane. And
the
then
priority
that 1K
after the
gold
first
lead,
buy.
get to get this Drake. The Ocean helps them so much. Best early game Drake.
So Zoe has
literally the nightmare of
no
every tank top
magic
laner
mantle
play
her inventory, which is useful to not die to the LeBlanc, but there's not very many super great items that mid lane mage can get from magic resist now, because the Abyssal Mass is so much weaker than it used to be. So that will either build into Merc Treads or build into a Banshee's Veil.
There's a little bit of that same kind of playmaking that we saw from Kaboom in the CB Law, because right now this slow, steady game, this is Pentagram.
Banshee's Veil all that much, because it's so easily poked off.
Once they have an advantage, they
when
like
they have a Caitlyn and a Rakan and a LeBlanc, but if played right, it might make her life a little bit easier. Trundle, once again, doing Trundle things these days with his pillar and his effective fighting.
And down he goes, disrespecting the Orb
That was very
Shield.
greedy.
Once is going to regret that.
Ounce on his Kha'Zix.
Everybody does that every now and then. You're just like, oh, he's almost
dead. This is one thing
Doesn't have enough
a lot of
damage
people
yet.
forget
He
about
has the
Trundle.
warrior. When he started that, he thought he'd be able to do it, but he's not isolated,
Trundle,
right? The isolated
when he does his
is really
chomp,
where
when he
a lot
bites
of
you,
that damage comes from.
he
even evolved at
steals
first to try and just make it
attack
so that,
damage.
hey, he's going to do
It's
more
not
damage
just
to these isolated targets.
a loss
So strange.
of attack
So
damage
used
that
to
you have,
seeing
he
the
steals
ulti
it.
evolved.
So, I'm not sure which rank he has his chomp at yet, and I'm not sure of the numbers exactly, but I think he's still somewhere around 40 attack damage when it's ranked 3 or 4.
He has 100% kill participation.
And that made it so Kha'Zix is not going to be able to have all the damage he wants to finish this fight. He just gets burst down so fast from the combo of the CC and the brittle and the auto attack resets.
Basic attack range increase of 50.
They need to make aggressive use of their Shen ultimate, or they need to just calm down
we have to wonder if it will count
play the
more
game a
value
little
if he
bit
can find
safer
maybe an isolated duel up against the
and
Trundle,
get
but unfortunately,
picks.
he's kind of behind in terms of the itemization already. Trundle onto his second item while he's just finishing the first and working towards those tier 2s.
So,
I definitely hurt him a lot because you
the vision was just toggled a second ago, and neither team has excessive vision in the enemy jungle.
Really bad because he was actually up a level.
They just have the
earlier,
shallow wards
is the one
if they're offensive wards, or
And I really like this
just
Ranger. We expected
wards
more
in the
percentage,
river
kind
for
of
defense.
expecting to win his early lane,
So yeah,
be the
this is
reliable
what
source.
LeBlanc
Now, though,
will
the 1v1,
continually do over and over and over again. Is she dashes forward, she throws out a tether, and then she just walks with the Zoe. And Zoe can't use her ultimate to get away. And if Zoe throws a trouble bubble out to hit the LeBlanc, she just dashes back. But her dash is up again before the next trouble bubble, and so she can get to do it again.
Interesting though that they actually put their AD carry in the lane.
And now that LeBlanc has finished that Luden's Echo, she has that extreme wave priority I was talking about a few minutes ago to be able to rotate, be able to go forward.
Vision there from Pentagram. They'd be very vulnerable if they
Now,
approach this wave, but
Pentagram did finally get that turret bot lane.
giving them the respect.
Yeah, Pentagram are now going to pick up this wave, but this gives
the tower
priority
first
to
down there.
the bottom lane of Kaboom. They'll move towards
Please.
mid, and this is where
Either
you have
a
to say,
team
are we
show
going
me
to just
how to
shove
do
mid and try
Caitlyn
to
right,
siege up here with
or stop
Caitlyn,
picking
or
Caitlyn,
is it more
because
of
you're
we're
not
going to wait,
winning
chunk out Ramune and keep it in the phase?
The tower
then when he's
battles.
chunked out, Ranger will come in,
You're
put
not
down the
winning
Rift Herald.
the
That seems like
fights.
one of those more straightforward plans, but
Maybe
it
it's
just seems like they're
because
gonna
the
continue to keep the pressure on and
junglers
go for the,
are so
siege
confident that that lane will do well, they don't visit it at all.
He's gonna run right into him, try to pick him off before the fight even starts.
But
Kaboom with a quick pick there.
then the enemy team jungle, knowing that they don't want it to implode bot lane, sends their jungler there over and
Pretty
over
big
again.
chunk. Well, the turret also going to feel a little bit of a chunk
But
here. Zyron,
we
you can
haven't
get knocked
seen
down here by the
Kha'Zix
Rift
presence bot lane
Herald.
at all, really,
Expect him.
either. So it's
They did
basically
dash.
on the 2v2.
Tricky. They're still going though. They're still going to keep
Titan
going.
and
You saw the
Rive
Kha'Zix actually fighting on the side.
losing
This is a
to
2v3 in the mid lane.
Or Moyashi though, good
Pentagram's
damage on Jinkido onto Cheetown as well. He is going to hold on to the tower. Great use of the feathers there.
That was a beautiful use of
They
the
get that turret down
Rift
to
Herald.
1/4 HP.
I'm sorry,
That's
I
kind of
was
mission accomplished there for Kaboom.
on a
They got the
tangent
kill,
someplace
they
else
got to
instead of
push up the
talking
mid
about
wave, and now
what was
they're
going
sitting
on
about
there.
2,000 gold
But
up.
Kaboom playing the early game out very well. This is
are
a concern
using
for Rampage.
and
Would they
playing
be able to
around
keep up? It worked for a little while, but
power spikes of the LeBlanc,
the pace up and
punishing
gold lead, 2 towers
the
to
Zoe
1.
and making
Missing out on
dives.
the Ocean Drake
Right
for sure,
now,
feels like Kaboom once again in control.
LeBlanc
Pretty
would take
especially when you look at that
80%
mid-lane
of
matchup.
anybody's
CCS
health
until the
except the
front.
Shen and the Alistar in a single rotation.
Tensions walks up,
And
uses the ultimate. It's press R on Ramune is the name of the game
that
there.
was really
so
beautiful.
many
The
ultis
whole,
used.
extreme coordination from
They get him.
all
It's
the
worth
ultimates.
it.
Maybe a little
That's one of those situations
overkill,
where Ramune is
but
just like, really, guys?
they're
Just
not getting
everybody's
punished
here?
for it, so
But they weren't
it was worth.
expecting that.
That's a situation where you type in chat and you ping every cooldown you possibly can and just hope that nobody gets where are the Mias?
LeBlanc has decided to go Merc Treads,
Everybody was able to back purchase,
which is
and that was kind of what Pentagram didn't want to have happen.
understandable.
Kaboom got to buy their Infinity Edge, they got to buy
Now,
their Ludens, and just have all
Merc
these items
Treads
in time for the Mountain Drake to
give
come
tenacity.
up. They could have been able to
Tenacity
push them out and
reduces
stop
the
them from recalling
duration
for
of
about 20
any
seconds, but
CC
now
that's
it's gonna
not
come
a
down to potentially a
displacement
fight
CC.
here. No standing
So,
cause.
And when I say CC, if you are not familiar with gaming, CC stands for crowd control.
Only 17 minutes in, so we're a bit of a ways away from
It's
that.
just abilities
that
that affect other champions' ability to move, see, cast spells, or attack.
Right now. Pentagram committed to the area and wants us to be really careful. He has no MR.
Now, the Mercury Treads, which we see both on LeBlanc and on the Zoe, are
the push advantage, but he just
because
to come down
each
here.
team has significant amount of
because it is a Titanic Hydra Shen.
CC that they can bring to the table. If LeBlanc goes in
we'll start to even up the gold at least
super aggressive and uses a double dash because she wants to do the damage right, Xayah can throw her feathers down and pull them back and successfully snare the LeBlanc somewhere in that combo. Alistar and Shen have their hard CC as well, so LeBlanc wants to make sure that if her passive is procced, which has been returned. This is the reverted LeBlanc style, where she goes into, she goes invisible and produces a clone, and both of them can be controlled to walk one way or another. When you have Merc Treads, that makes it so that you can move even if your passive gets procced in the duration of most CC. But if you get CC and then have your passive proc and don't have Merc Treads, you won't move at all and you'll get died to the area effect spells, or both will be so in range to be targeted that you're not going to get away with it. So I approve of that choice.
From all of the champions who can kill me because I'm a little behind. Okay,
now,
your point.
I want to avoid them. So,
LeBlanc has gone.
Sadly cannot do
well,
that
his
right
building is not there
really
yet.
waiting for
Morella
someone to isolate
Nomicon.
themselves before he can make use of the wall. And in the meantime, Kaboom are
on Pentagram. There is not all that much healing. Kha'Zix has healing, but mostly in the 1v1. And he's a burst champ. It's not huge healing sustain. Shen doesn't have that much healing. Alistar doesn't provide that much healing with his team. So you might ask, why get a Morella Nomicon so early on when the Xayah doesn't have any healing himself yet? It is for the 15 flat magic.
For a little bit more, and there's that Kha'Zix damage. That's Drowsy LeBlanc. Does leap. Oh, looking for it. Can't get it. Really?
Her targets are going to have no magic resist or very little.
With the R evolution.
Zoe,
he got all the way
Xayah,
up.
Kha'Zix.
That's so true.
And
it's exactly what.
Like I said last game, if you were watching,
for Q instead of
the flat magic pen
which remember
on
this LeBlanc now disappears.
Morella Nomicon or Sword Boots is more gold efficient than the percent on Void Staff, unless your target has over 73 magic resist.
Once Will gets spotted out, built up repeat as well.
That doesn't happen often for champions like
Kha'Zix, says, I'm the
Zoe,
carry, I'll take
or
that 30
Xayah.
gold.
So
she's
trying to get
on that one.
early strengths. She's not building for the late game, trying to hit level 16 faster than anyone else and just take over the game with the picks and mobility she provides.
A little bit what Kaboom is doing, trying to find picks of their own, but Kaboom, still very much in control. They've got that scaling Caitlyn. She's on 1.5 items. They've got the LeBlanc, who very clearly is comfortable in those 1v1s.
The game is at a 2,000 gold difference, and the team is
maybe not the ideal target.
very
Gen
nice.
Ultimate is coming in.
This is
go. Still, the Alistar is alive. They committed so many cooldowns. Satori Moyashi is untouched, and Ramune is coming in on the backside. That's the Sleepy Trouble Bubble and the
very,
4 members strong.
very well done by Pentagram.
Stealth, trying to bait some cooldowns. Isn't going to
a lot of other teams
Pentagram
would
in
have
control right now. They need to get a greater advantage if they want to take something off of this.
been extremely afraid after Rakan has got that many
hits. The heal does come in once, stealthing his way through. No one there to block the build. He's angry solo. You can see
what happened was Alistar used his ultimate to get out of the CC and to be tanky, even though it looked like he had no health left. And then Shen threw his ult down, and Shen's ultimate can increase in size of shield given by up to 50% if your target is 40% health or lower. So we got a max size Shen shield on an Alistar who's ulted, and they couldn't finish him off. And because the carries of Kaboom did not want to walk through Alistar who can CC them all, they did not get any damage on the Xayah, and she just like, oh, hi Rakan, thanks, now leave me alone. And Rakan was too deep, no support, and was bursted.
Yeah, it's just interesting because the Xayah was mostly a takeaway, so it's not Xayah Rakan.
Did you want to go back and watch that fight?
Now, having heard my explanation,
that's something you can do.
Playing like a pick composition, right? This is really a composition that thrives when you have
to see
kind of odd numbers in a fight.
There's a little bit more cohesion from Kaboom
the Kazakh
in their
out isolated, and then having Shen
endeavors
make it so that it's
to
in your favor
take
with the standing
more
united.
from Pentagram.
So the Xayah doesn't really fit.
We have a dragon in 43 seconds. We're doing the Baron dance, and they have that very low mid turret. So Pentagram wants to make sure there is plenty of vision for themselves here, and there was a little bit of miscommunication because there's 2 pink wards, 2 control wards there at the red pit.
Oh, Jin Kato might actually go for something here. The exhaust though for Ramune. That's the feels bad man where Zoe's
at a point where Shen cannot bully him as easily, and they're just trying to have the race who can get lane priority. Neither of them decided to build Banner of Command this game so far.
Doesn't want to go for it. Doesn't want to.
So Shen has the advantage though because he has 2 globals he can use, which is why you pick Shen. It's one of the basic things.
Waiting patiently for those backs to come in from the side of Pentagram before moving in for this early vision, taking control now of the top side, playing a slow calculated game, putting themselves in a position
Oran's
to take Baron as well.
Have extreme trouble ever taking a turret
has been massive thus far.
Hello.
With his current items. And that's Kazakhs doing Kazakhs things. What happened there is Kazakh has his R evolved, and if you play Kazakhs, please evolve that first. You become invisible when you walk through a brush. And so that invisibility is not revealed by control wards. The only thing that can see you is a sweeper beam ran down will show the proc, or area effect spells will show the glimmer.
They go over the wall.
Immediately they're going to start it up. Zyrene, no vision here.
They have a Mountain Drake, so it goes down faster than
look for those things to happen.
There's a blue trinket on Zoe.
So
they're going to see it at like 4K HP.
Orange snuck his way up here. They don't know where he is. Oh, that was so close.
Ranger secures it. A desperate attempt for Pentagram, but Kaboom get the Baron in the end.
It took them so long because Kaboom had been around that area
but very well done by
Kaboom, for minutes, being like, are we
doing
it or not?
Be
they
patient
don't have the vision control
that Baron.
on Pentagram's side.
They didn't try to dive mid-turret again. They failed once. They didn't want to try it again.
Difficult spot to be in if you're Pentagram. Not at all what you wanted. The game
go
was
in,
slow. You were
ward
scaling.
as
Maybe
a team,
you were playing how you were used
clear
to play,
wards.
Boom.
It was
very
smart macro
to
play.
risk the 50-50. They believe they can make it out in the end. It comes down
I hope to see
smite,
more of that.
Ooh. Once goes over, but everybody stops damage. It sits at 1,000. Nobody's even like AoEing or anything there. He he has to smite it when it's not in smite range. He can't really get off the abilities
so what
that he needs
does
to either
Kaboom
to put
want
it
to do
even lower.
with
So,
this
great for the
power
Ranger
spike
and the
they
rest of the
have?
team to not do
With
anything.
Does not go down to
the
100
summoners they have
They did
available,
a little
they
bit
have
more
all
damage.
their
That
summons,
Kha'Zix would have stolen
they have the
Baron.
Baron buff,
Could have put
they
Pentagram in a
have
fantastic situation and averted
very
disaster
strong power
completely, but now
spikes
they're gonna be
on
playing the back
their
foot for at least
carries.
the next 2.5 minutes.
They
lose
just
a lot here too,
need
and that
to
means that Cheeton and you're going to also see
3-man as a
Kato
Rakan,
have a lot more
Trundle,
damage, and that's what this
and
composition
Caitlyn
is about, is having damage
with
on those two guys so that
their
they can have this kind of meat wall in front of them that will soak
LeBlanc
bubbles for them
in the
that
shadows.
will also allow them to kind of just have these front-to-back
But
team fights that
they're
I
doing it
frankly
in a
think
different
Kaboom
way, and they're
win
having
because
success,
Pentagram are so
just
focused on
picking up all this free gold from the turrets
And go for the
that are
cover
still
5v5.
standing.
Definitely have some vocal Kaboom fans in the audience.
I mean,
And
I see a Brazilian flag. Like,
Pentagram,
people here definitely supporting Kaboom.
It's
and
hard
the
to
CB
initiate on a LeBlanc. It's
Good
hard
fan
to
support come
initiate
out
on
all
a
the way here to
Rakan.
Berlin, and
Orin's
good
the
win.
tank, you
CB
don't want to
fans,
initiate
if
on
Kaboom can
him.
find it, they're well on the way, Zyrene.
So
And
how do they
maybe
get
not
a
the game that
kill?
we expected to. I think we
How
want-
do they
I mean, I
force the
personally
fight
want
and not
more
lose more
blood,
and
but
more?
it's been very controlled. But these few explosive moments
If
have really defined
they
it
as a
for
team
both sides.
chose that
It's not the game
fighting
that I think
right
anybody
now
expected. Sanchez
is their best
on a tank.
option and is better
The
than
new
fighting
LeBlanc coming
later,
through for Jin Kato.
trying to just
And
continue
then the
to
bottom
lose the
lane was
minimum.
something that it looked like got flipped around by
The best way
Tori
to do
later.
it, I feel,
So it's been kind of an awkward game all
would
around,
be,
but it came down to a few picks, and once Kaboom got an advantage, they've been able to keep it, and they used their
getting
competition to bait objectives
control of
very
some
effectively.
bush
I think Kaboom are playing
area.
the map very intelligently and
Kha'Zix
showing
walking into it,
Pentagram
gaining
that their usual
invisibility,
style of slow
ulting
control
to
game isn't gonna
extend
fly
the
here.
length of that invisibility,
Absolutely.
and
They
all
wanna play slow
inning
and
on
steady,
the
that Kaboom are
Caitlyn.
more than willing to just rush
The
down that
Shen
Baron, and
needs to
it's really been the team
submarine,
effort
which
across
means
the board to
use
bring it
his
home.
ultimate on top of
have not
Kha'Zix
seen the
to
immaculate
also show
individual
up at that
performances
exact
you
same
might have been
time
expecting from names like Keto,
and
someone like
hard
Cheeton,
CC
and from Zenchins as well, but
the Caitlyn.
really the team game has been
Rakan will
fantastic for
engage in that area,
kind of
trying
leave somebody off on their
to
own,
save the
picked off by
Caitlyn.
Kha'Zix,
That's
making
when the
trouble bubble,
Alistar
etc.
makes
So
his
you really do have to
engage,
just play as a team, group as a
doing
cluster, and they're
his
even just
full
ignoring
combo
kind
to
of the Shen
knock
on the
up
bottom
and
side of the map and saying
stop
this is just more
what
valuable.
they're
The
doing.
Shen can
And
go ahead
Zaya
have, you know,
throws
Shen
out all her
down, that's
feathers,
fine.
pulls them back, and
The
hopes that they
boys are gonna have
kill
a party in the top side.
both
Exactly.
Caitlyn and
Hey man,
Rakan
get as many
almost
globals as you
instantaneously.
want. We're here to
If
play.
they can
We
do
know
that,
where we want to be.
then they can
One spot on the map for the team right now. Boom. Call the
pull
board
back
side.
and fight
Use
against
the zone
the
team
rest
away
of
and
Kaboom's
inhibitor in
team
their sights. Shen wants to fire back
in the
to once again,
3v5.
but in goes the
Alright, so they're submarining on the Alistar instead, but he came way too late. They weren't able to lock up the CC,
And Cheeton just waiting, sitting,
and
looking for an opportunity to come into the fight, and so much damage comes out.
they
The
weren't
bubble
able
on the combo
to
means Kong is going
overlap
down
the CC
immediately.
effectively, and so
And Cheeton,
Kaboom is
that
continuing
was
to
the freest
fight.
team fight of his life. No one could get into the back line to contest
Traded
it.
support
Yeah,
for
you could
support.
see Gang trying to
And
go in and have
as we
an
see
attack
from
on
the
Cheeton
graphic,
there.
that was a
Wasn't able to actually catch
3.5K
him, so the Caitlyn gets away,
gold
still with
Baron
flash and
power
heal.
play. What was just
Everything that they want there.
2,000 gold lead
Extending
is
their
now
gold lead even further. And you have to,
5,000
Pentagram
gold
have
lead.
to make a play to try to stop
They
it
have
from going. They can't just
inhibitors
let themselves
broken.
get walked down,
They
but
have
could not do it in the end, could not execute.
I mean, it looked like the best
control
opportunity
of
for
the
them
map.
because the
They
LeBlanc
have
was
the
mid.
level
They were able to have a
advantage
5v4 for a limited time, but the engage just was a little bit
Interesting.
off. And so it ends up
There
being, I believe,
is
a 1-for-1
no
there where the supports get traded off.
truly effective level advantage right
It's all
now.
right for him.
Only Orin
Take a look at
has
it
a
one more
higher
time and see
level
how this
than
unfolded.
Shen.
Yeah, they get to just slaughter the turret once the Ornn ultimate
So
used.
that is
Gang says,
one
"All right,
very
it's time
nice
to go."
thing Pentagram has been able to do is
But
get
Flash
their
Pulverize
CS
doesn't get
and get their
Cheeton, and he gets to go
experience.
behind the trap line. And now going after Cheeton, you've already used the headbutt Pulverize.
Because if you fall
You've already
behind in
used
levels
the Shadow
as
Dash.
well
There's
as
no
gold
way
and
to reach
everything
that
else,
Caitlyn
it
that
just
gets
becomes
to
all
throw
that
out all these
easier
pot
to
shots and then
finish
gets
you
to
off.
kind of retaliate. Cheeton is just playing
So-
fantastically, kind of aware of his surroundings at all times. The positioning has been fantastic, and he's not overplaying.
Kaboom
so many
is
people will
grouping up
overplay
once
situations
again
and use things that they don't have to.
And the thing I
to
like about
push
this is we're seeing
bot
how
lane
his
with their
champion
Caitlyn and
indicates play
Siege
style.
with
We saw
her
in the Ezreal
long
highlights on
range,
Ezreal,
the
on
rapid
that
fire
champion
right now
he's willing
would
to play
allow her
forward.
to
He's willing
get
fit
free
that role
auto
with the team.
attacks on the
Caitlyn,
turret.
He's playing it slow and steady. He knows if he messes up that net, he dies. So he's just willing to just chunk away, consistently dealing damage, being that threat, setting up the traps, being the backline AD carry.
And LeBlanc is just
Good look for Kaboom.
making
now,
it so two
Zyrene, this
people
is kind
always
of
have to try to deal
Baron Baron has faded away, but this hold does not get much easier because the Caitlyn is so strong. Just think of the
Zhen's
advance here, but
ultimate
Ranger
is
there to
up
body
in
block
about
and not
15
find the fall. Once
seconds.
again, call the Forge God, rinse and repeat.
They can
Forces
hold out
out
for
Desire
that
Logi in
and
return.
then
Rame
make the
just
right
desperately trying to fire
play.
back, but the Sleepy Truffle was connecting on the tanks.
They can make
Not
something
what the team
happen.
needs. G2 leaps in once, autoed down, cheated.
There we go. Kaboom have the advantage. They're pushing it. And there's now basically a miracle play has to go forward to stop them from losing.
Here? Will they overstay their welcome? Will they take the risk?
They just don't really have much of a team fight on the side of Pentagram, so Kaboom just get to force these over and over again.
We have super
Waves
minions
have to be
in the
cleared
top.
on the top and bottom side.
We have a
for
decent
Pentagram,
minion wave in the
and
middle.
There's a Baron in 30 seconds here
They've
that Kaboom
broken
can
bot lane.
recall and set up for.
And they're deciding to reset because Caitlyn is so low on health. Now, one of the annoying things about Caitlyn is she doesn't have very many effective ways to get life back once she's lost it. She doesn't build all that much lifesteal in her kit.
That's the tight 9 the no hesitation.
So when she used her ultimate and got hit by a Zoe
coming in clutch
poke,
and at this point,
she wasn't able to
it feels like for
feel
Pentagram,
comfortable
6K
regaining
down,
that hit points.
Baron is up. They steal this,
really quickly,
or they're out
LeBlanc,
of this game, Irene.
unlike Vladimir Laskin,
And
has
that's what
decided
Kaboom
to
also
go
knows, so
Death
I
Cap
expect
before
Kaboom
Void
to just
Stop.
play
And
it
I
slow.
am all
You see
for
that
that.
Yutori Moyashi on
Because
the top side trying to
Alistar
clear out super
can
minions,
build
whereas
magic resist. He
Paz
builds
on the
Righteous
bottom
Glory.
side with Stand
The
United
only
trying to
person with
clear
magic
push there.
resist more
So
than a
there's
Merc
now a timer,
Tread
and then
is the Shen.
Goodbye,
She
jungler.
would never
That's
want to kill the Shen
exactly what they
anyways.
want. Gonna get
So
one pick off.
the
Cheeton gonna poke down a little bit as well, and that's gonna be a free Baron, short of some miraculous
multiplicative
contest here, but
damage that a
Pentagram
Death
don't have
Cap
the
will
resources,
give
don't have the members, don't
with all
have
the
the goals, so
AP
Kaboom gonna get
LeBlanc
this one
already has. It's
uncontested
more
after the pick on
effective
it once.
than
And it's been
what
a
a
really
Void Staff
clean
would
game
do.
from Kaboom ever since that part at the start
So
where things
that
started
is
going
smart
Pentagram's way. They
building.
said,
That
nope,
is
let's go ahead,
good
bait the Baron,
choices there.
got the Baron,
Now, I
and then
don't
from there it's just been smooth sailing.
like
We're seeing that macro play.
all these
and coming in, it
completed
was very
foreign
hard to
items
rank
I am seeing
where
from
Kaboom was
Kaboom,
going to be.
because
in
it's
this
actually
group.
not that gold
Second,
efficient,
third,
and
some people
to
say
get
they don't
those
know, maybe
upgrades
fourth, but
until
Kaboom right now
you've
showing
finished
that
everything
at least
else.
they have Pentagram's
But
number in the macro game.
one thing that they are, it's 1,000 gold or 500 gold depending on the item.
Good.
So
they're controlled.
it
Doesn't look
is.
like any individual member is crumbling under the pressure.
If you
Such a high
knew
stakes match.
or
Now
suspected
they're
this
pushing
was
in
going to be
close
your
it
last
out,
fight,
but Alistair wants one
you
more
just
effort
wanted
in,
to
wants
get
it
those
now.
few
Cheeton's still
stats
alive.
and yet
Healing
have
up.
space
Has a
or
little bit
time
extra
for
lifesteal on that physical damage.
full
Starts to
item
pull
sets.
through.
I can
Paz
understand
isn't blocking
making that
anything. Yutori
choice.
Moyashi and Ramune are still alive, but the tank line
but
is dead.
For those
Others
watching,
come out,
wanting
and
to
it is
understand how
not
to win
enough,
more
Cyrene. The
games
tanks
later
are dead,
on,
and the game is all but over. TP
if
to
it's
keep
not
minions
the
alive.
last
Baron
fight,
Buff's
this
gonna
is all
close
that
it
matters.
out
We
in
need to win this
fashion.
or lose.
Kaboom coming in strong for
don't
Brazil
upgrade
in the
those.
CBLOL with their first win in the play-in stage.
And very well done from Kaboom.
A different look for them
I think
because
that
it
might
was
have been
slow and
Caitlin's first
controlled,
win
and
this
a different look
tournament so
for
far.
Zanshins playing a tank in the top lane, but he was in charge of the engage, and he made the right plays constantly.
Pentagram
And honestly, we also have to give praise
picked
for
a
Ranger.
risky
Fantastic
mid
performances from the
laner.
laners.
Zoe
Support from
is
everyone on
feast
the
or
team inside of
famine.
Kaboom, but he was the guy
And
who facilitated
in this game she was
so
famine
much of the
because she was
action in the early
counterpicked.
game.
I think
That's
I
the
would
thing
have
is you're going
preferred
to
to
see
see
these
something
great
like
numbers from
Azir
Cheeton. You're going to see the
or
pressure from Jinkato. But a lot of
Nivea
what made this
or
game
a
work
safer
was the fact
line
that
pick like
Zanshins had the
Orianna.
right engages, and that Ranger,
Or
his
Corki.
ganks were on point early. He
I
really
don't
did shut
understand why
down once and
pros
played off his
aren't
lane as well.
enjoying
And
Forky
talk about
right
the
now.
freedoms. They just had to leave his lane. That's what they put
I feel
that
he
Shen behind.
is
And overall,
something
working out well.
that can be used in a best
One
of one
win
tournament
coming through.
effectively
Everyone's
when you
probably
don't have-
wondering, is this
when
the
you have to
Kaboom
be
lineup that
blind
can
picked.
test Supermassive?
So I'll be done now. Thank
Favorite
you. Have a good
coming
day.
into this tournament. How are they going to go head-to-head?
Well, I'll be done in a second once I get out of this.